Glad to still have you with us. Now to the committees in the House of Representatives and some of what they were able to achieve this week.
It was a busy week for the committees in the National Assembly, as different ministries, departments and agencies were in the National Assembly, some of them meeting for the first time. The Committee on Banking and Currency was the busiest of all, meeting with the different agencies from Tuesday through Thursday. In the opening remarks in the meeting with the management of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, the chairman of the committee outlined some of the committee's plans.
Indeed, the substantive challenge of modern-day economic management and regulatory institutions is the need to balance authority with responsibility. The need to come before the Nigerian people with the desired levels of transparency, accountability, and appropriate standards of disclosures. This committee shall seek to promote these, and in doing so, we will exercise our duty without fear or favor. And will not shy away from our collective duty to the electorate that brought us here as their representatives. At a time like this, with the current state of our economy, it is imperative that there is a better synergy among the three arms of government in order to steer the country out of our present economic quagmire. This time calls for vigilance and improved due diligence. I have said it before, and I will say it again, that this committee is poised to meet the expectations of Nigerians. Expectations of a financial system that is anchored on a viable, strong, accountable, reliable, and transparent banking regulation, monetary policy, deposit insurance, banking asset management, and currency regime. Our roadmap is extensive, robust, and based on effective monitoring and evaluation.
The Committee on Housing also met during the week. The chairman of the committee said the country has another opportunity to bridge the huge housing deficit facing Nigerians.
Today presents another opportunity to collaboratively address the challenge by making a housing finance top national priority with a clear and professional leadership, with a unified direction of all government agencies, state, government, and more particularly to private sector in the provision of mass housing for Nigerians. It is no longer news that access to housing strongly supports economic growth and poverty reduction. Demand for new affordable housing in Nigeria creates demand for construction workers, which in turn drives employment, industrial growth. Another area demanding urgent attention from the new administration is the issue of collapse building. The monitoring mechanism needs to be improved, open the appropriate human development to measure with modern trends in addressing building collapse device. As elected representatives of the people, the committee on behalf of the lower house promises to expedite legislative action on the review of the Land Use Act and any other related policy brought before it as related to housing.
Other committees that held meetings include the Committee on Maritime Safety, Education and Administration, the Committee on Police Affairs, and the Committee on Navy. In the Senate, the President of the Senate inaugurated more standing committees of the Senate. It was during one of the inaugurations that the Senate President revealed that in a few weeks, the Senate will begin work on the first set of bills on petroleum industry reforms. He said the petroleum industry bill has been given priority in the legislative agenda of the 8th Senate.
The oil and gas industry remains the lifeblood of the Nigerian economy. The industry is going through a downturn period, which represents also the opportunity for us to reform the local industry to meet the changing times. Attempts in the past to reform the industry through the petroleum industry bill have not been able to go full circle for a number of reasons. Significantly, this Senate this time round has adopted the PIB as one of our legislative agenda. It is our intention that this time round we will break this jinx. And in Senate, in doing that, very soon, we hope that we will be able to come up with the PIB for first reading. After that, the effort now depends on the Senate committees of upstream, downstream, and gas. We challenge you that once these bills are brought before you, they should receive prompt attention. And let us move from the past that some of the bill PIB stays for months and months with the committees to ensure that we implement and deliver on this promise.
Our final report this week is on a motion that was considered in the House of Representatives, a motion on the need to check the growing population of the country. The motion was on the need to curb population explosion in Nigeria. The sponsor of the motion said Nigeria must come up with an action plan to check the growing population in the country.
The House is also concerned that unbridled population growth puts pressure on the country's finances and infrastructure, especially food, housing, education, and health care. And it is also the catalyst for high unemployment, crime, poverty, among others.
Even though some lawmakers supported the motion, those against it were more passionate.
We were directed by our prophet that we should marry up to 4 wives, and one is allowed, and it is even recommended upon every Muslim to deliver, to born as many as he can. So the moment you are a Muslim, you must believe in that you are free to deliver or to born as many as you want.
In Islam, he knows, and everybody knows, that birth control is allowed. There's withdrawal method and whatever method that could be done. Japan has the same population with Nigeria, would have the land mass of Nigeria, but yet the application of resources there is very effective, and there is no cause for alarm. In fact, they do not have one single mineral resources. But if you get to Japan today, they are far better than Nigeria. So the issues raised about unemployment by my colleagues, about infrastructure, is just because we have refused to apply our resources as should be and where it should be.
The Speaker, however, stepped in.
The truth is that we're talking about policy. And these policies will be developed by Nigerians who are either adherents of Christianity or Islam. It is only when the policies are developed that you can say they are anti this religion or not.
But more objections were raised, and the Speaker had to finally take a decision.
Refer the matter to our committees on justice, then the Committee on Population. Then in view of Honorable Jagaba's point of order, rules and business is added onto it to advise me as to how to proceed. So that is my ruling on this matter.
The House will now have to wait for these committees to submit their position before a decision can be taken on this motion. Well, a very intriguing debate there. We will have to wait for the recommendation of that committee on that matter. I also look forward to following the outcome of the meeting between the Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream and agencies in that sector. Well, what caught your attention this week? Well, you can tell us and let us know through any of our online platforms. The addresses are here on the screen. Well, permit me to take my leave at this point. Thanks for being there. I am Lanre Lasese.